I hope that there will be no need for a commissioner for equality, because that will mean that our work is done. But obviously, I think that this is still very far away. And what I hope to achieve is more steps in the direction of having equality in our societies, equality in the member states of the European Union, and equality in the world.
So many things are on the table. Yeah, women and men equally represented in boards, 50-50. No more opposing against the Istanbul Convention. That should be ratified. And of course, concerning the gender pay gap, to have huge progress.
Unrealistically but ambitiously, I would hope for gender equality to be maybe mainstreamed into mainstream policy. It should be clear that actually everything has to do with gender relations, and that gender is not just some separate issue from all the other issues. So we really need to have gender at the core of all policies, and we need really, I also hope in 10 years this is very clear, we need to see that boys and men and ideas about masculinity are part of the problem, so we need to make boys and men and the transformation of masculinity part of the solution.
Yeah, I really hope that all citizens in the European Union, or people who live in the European Union, understand equality between women and men and inequality between women and men, which I hope by then will have been significantly decreased. I hope the issues of violence against women, male violence against women, are more deeply understood and tackled and have become completely culturally unacceptable, including the sexual exploitation of women through prostitution, for example. I hope also that we've started to really tackle gender stereotypes so that people are free to make choices about what they want to do, what job they want to have, what kind of education they want to have, what kind of, etc. More freely. And I really hope that the European Institute for Gender Equality has contributed to that and has contributed to really sound policy choices. I think one thing perhaps to say for the European Union also is that we see obviously that there's a decrease in inequality between women and men, and we can measure that thanks to the index. But also there's a difference, the difference between countries is reduced as well. I think that's really important, because at the moment there's a huge disparity between those at the top of the index and those at the bottom of the index. So I think we'd like to see a more uniform approach so that women experience and can have their rights fulfilled wherever they live in the European Union.
Well, there are two things which I would like to sort of see would have sort of changed radically in European societies pushed by gender equality. The number one priority is to have sort of different growth indicators and to really measure the progress of society from a gender equality point of view as well, right? It's all the Beyond GDP agenda. And the second thing is that I would like that no women are sort of drawn to vote for anti-democratic, anti-European nationalistic movements. There's too many women at the moment who are sort of seduced by the sort of the coziness or that populist movement sort of bring to them, and this is something that we've got to remedy by making sure that there is a caring Europe which they can believe in.
Okay, if it's a time for a dream, so I would dream of very equal societies with differences but equal. That means that we have each of us has similar choices to get the same salary, to get the same position, to get to not to be abused, and that would be a dream to have much more equal society, and with the same salaries, with the same engagement into society, with the same valued roles in society, and the statuses in society which with we live in society which full of status, so that our gender should not be an obstacle to be important and to do our best, which we want to do, which we can do in our societies, no matter I'm a man or woman or able or disabled and so on. So dream of a much more equal society than we have now.
Well, I hope that we will more raise awareness that gender equality is a vital component in developing sustainable societies.
I hope that we have taken so many steps that we are forward to gender equality, so you can see that in the gender equality index. So the average level should be, say, 90%.
Well, with the domain of power being one of the holding the lowest score in the gender equality index, women remain underrepresented in all domains that are scoring like quite low, and our members are very much indeed committed to that. And so CEP would definitely would wish to see redressed the power domain in gender equality for sure.
Well, I think that probably the most evident, I think the economical elements related to the incorporation of women to the labor market, to making decision positions, these kind of things that are very well identified. But I think that we need to work on the other part, the hidden part, like gender-based violence and all these things. So equality is not a question of less or more equality. It's equality. It's a human right. So we need to work all together in the feeling to incorporate equality not only as a result but also as a value.